In the bustling chambers of the Galactic Trade Assembly, orbiting the radiant world of Velcora Prime, dozens of species argued, debating tariffs, embargoes, and territorial rights. But above every law, above every clause etched into the archives, there was one rule no one dared to challenge. Don't cross human territory. The humans had not always been feared. When they first emerged from their small blue world, they were dismissed as loud, fragile mammals. Their ships were crude compared to the elegant bio-vessels of the Zaya Dominion. But humans learned fast. Within 3 decades, their trade routes spanned 27 systems. Within 50 years, they became the largest independent freight haulers in the Orion Arm. And within a century, every major economy quietly relied on them, not because they were the strongest, because they were the most reliable. Human trade convoys became legendary. If a human captain signed a contract, that cargo would arrive, even if pirates, solar flares, or minor wars stood in the way. Which is why the Cytheri Combine made the worst mistake in modern galactic history. The Cytheri were predators by culture and tradition. Their fleets enforced tribute tolls on smaller systems. Most species complied. It was easier to pay than to fight. Then a Cythari warcruiser intercepted a human convoy passing near the Coulter Expanse. The Cythari captain demanded tribute 20% of cargo and surrender of navigation logs. Human Captain Elias Ward replied with a simple transmission. You are inside a registered human trade corridor. This corridor is neutral and protected. Stand down, the Cythari laughed. They disabled one freighter with a warning shot and boarded it. That was their second mistake. The boarding team found no resistance. The human crew complied calmly. Too calmly, because the moment the Cythari crossed the hull, the human frigates activated a beacon. It wasn't a distress signal, it was a declaration. Within 9 minutes, 3 more Terran vessels emerged from fold space. Within 15, 6. Within 30, a full strike group. The Cytheri cruiser attempted to retreat. They never made it past the corridor boundary. What shocked the galaxy wasn't the speed of the human response, it was the precision. The humans disabled the Cythari cruiser without destroying it. Engines severed, weapons neutralized, communications jammed, boarding pods attached. Then the Terrans did something no one expected. They escorted the crippled cruiser back to Cythari space, and they invoiced them. The bill included repair costs for the damaged freighter, compensation for cargo delay, hazard pay for the crew, interest penalties, and a security enforcement fee. The total exceeded the Cythari military's annual budget. The Cythari refused to pay. That was their third mistake. Human trade stopped overnight. Freight contracts were suspended. Shipping lanes rerouted. Essential materials, medical isotopes, refined antimatter stabilizers, agricultural nanites ceased flowing into Cythari systems. Within 6 weeks, their economy buckled. Within 12, their outer colonies were rioting. The Cythari didn't lose a war, they lost access. Because humans understood something older than weapons, supply chains are lifelines, and humans controlled them. The Cytheri Combine signed the Trade Corridor Accord shortly thereafter. They paid the invoice in full, plus reparations. From that day forward, the Galactic Trade Assembly amended its charter. Officially, the clause read, no military or private entity shall interfere with registered Terran trade corridors, under penalty of collective economic sanction. Unofficially, it became far simpler. Don't cross human territory. But the story didn't end there. Years later, during the Varelian famine, when crop blight spread across 5 systems, it was the humans who responded first. Terran agricultural fleets deployed climate stabilization platforms. Cargo ships delivered food at cost, sometimes below cost. When pirates attacked neutral refugee transports, human escort carriers arrived without being asked. When smaller species were pressured by stronger empires, they quietly registered trade pacts with Earth. Because once a corridor was marked human, it was untouchable. Even the Zaya Dominion, whose fleets dwarfed all others combined, avoided testing the boundary. Their grand strategist once summarized it in a classified memo. Engaging Terran trade assets guarantees total economic retaliation. Probability of strategic loss, 87%. Humans did not expand territory aggressively, they expanded influence. Their star systems became hubs of interstellar commerce. Their shipyards built vessels for allies. Their academies trained foreign engineers. And their defense doctrine remained unchanged. We do not start fights, but we finish invoices. The phrase spread across trading stations and border outposts. Merchants whispered it like a blessing. Is this route safe? Yes, it's human. Convoys bearing the blue and white Terran emblem passed through war zones untouched. Even pirates learnt the hard way. Those who seized human cargo found their accounts frozen, their black market suppliers cut off. and bounty hunters funded by anonymous Terran investors tracking them relentlessly. Humans didn't just defend territory, they defended trust. And trust, in a galaxy built on trade, was more powerful than any fleet. In the Assembly's Grand Chamber, a young delegate from a newly spacefaring species once asked the obvious question, why doesn't anyone challenge them? Surely their fleets are not invincible. An older Velcaran diplomat responded softly, invincible? No, but if you fire on a human ship, you are not fighting a fleet. He gestured toward the holographic web of trade routes spanning the stars. You are fighting every contract, every alliance, every economy that depends on them. He dimmed the map until only the Terran corridors glowed bright across the spiral arm. And you will lose long before the first battle ends. So the law remained unwritten but absolute. In a galaxy filled with empires, warlords, and ancient powers, there was only one trade law that truly mattered. Don't cross human territory, because if you do, you won't be destroyed, you'll be disconnected. And in the silent vacuum between the stars, that is far worse.